It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams here.
Hi, you're watching Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get the show started. Right on the show today, Pakistan ridiculed once again. The washout at the ICC Champions Trophy after just 30 minutes of rain has again got all tongues wagging. This meant a crucial Afghanistan Australia match that could have decided the semi-finalists, ending on a sour note. And that is not all. Could the semi-final be hit by showers too? Will the PCB be able to handle that then? Anger and resentment is growing among fans, the media and former England cricketers as England men's cricket team faces its worst period. What has led to them crashing this way? Is baseball the culprit, or is it their arrogance, as many are blaming them for? What is the way forward? And the Uzbekistan Grandmaster Nordibek Yakuboev is in the news once again after the no handshake row where he refused to greet India's Grandmaster R. Vaishali. Nordibek seems to have made amends when he was pitted against Divya Deshmukh at the chess tournament in Prague. Watch to find out more. But first, let's take a look at the headlines on Sports 360. We'll start with cricket. India beat New Zealand in the final group stage match of the ICC Champions Trophy by 44 runs. Put into bat first, Shreyas Iyer's 79 powered India to 249 after early hiccups. In reply, Varun Chakravarti's fifer dismantled the Kiwi lineup for 205. India faces Australia for a spot in the final. That's tomorrow. India's cricket board BCCI has imposed new restrictions on teams participating in the T20 League, the Indian Premier League or the IPL. As part of the new mandate, teams can only have 7 practice sessions and just 2 warm-up matches before the season begins. This is to make sure the stadiums are all available for local matches to take place. Staying with news from the IPL, Kolkata franchise has announced Ajinkya Rahane as their captain. Rahane will lead Kolkata in the 2025 season. The 3-time champion side signed Rahane for $172,000 at the auction. Shreyas Iyer, who captained Kolkata to glory last year, has now joined Punjab. Rahane has led Rajasthan and the now discontinued Pune side in the past. Over in football, Major League Soccer or the MLS club Houston Dynamo have decided to compensate fans for Lionel Messi's no-show. He didn't feature in Inter Miami's 4-1 win over the Houston-based club. Dynamo fans will get tickets for a future match as compensation. Manchester United was sent crashing out of the FA Cup, losing a penalty shootout to Fulham in the 5th round tie. After the match ended 1-1 in the regulation time, United lost 3-4 on penalties. And summing it up with news from tennis, world number 8 Thomas Makak won his first ATP Tour title, the Mexican Open. Thomas beat Davidovich Fokina in straight sets to become the 3rd Czech tennis player to win an ATP 500 events title. It was inevitable, if not the pressure of the defeats that were mounting up, the fatigue of racking up another loss would have done it. But Jos Buttler, stepping down as captain of England's shorter formats, has only exposed the fragile fabric of England cricket. The entire setup, the management and the art of baseball that once everyone raved about is facing all the heat for England's dismal performance on the global stage. And numbers say it all. England had a horrid 2023 ODI campaign that was in India. They finished 7th out of 10 teams. They only managed to win 3 matches. Since then, England has played 17 one-day internationals and have managed to lose 13 out of those. And now the Champions Trophy, that resulted in a complete rout. 0 games won and a horrid campaign prompting the captain to step down. Clearly, the run-up to the ICC event was giving all the hints. There were massive red flags everywhere. But no one, particularly the management, was paying any heed to all of this. The humbling exit of the England men's squad, coupled with Butler's very morose resignation, opened the floodgates. The media ripped into the England think tank. The media has been brutal in their critique, and why not? The England side, whether or not they were in it all this past year, was not making the right noises as they headed into the ICC Champions Trophy. One, the loss to India. It was shameful, but what was worse was how flippant they were while talking about the whitewash. Now, moving on is important, but being complacent in such defeats just looked foolish. Two, the commentators who were commenting on the lack of preparation in the subcontinent conditions, they were golfing. The cricketers, England cricketers, were golfing more than having their net sessions. And Butler, of course, came out vehemently in support of his team's attitude, saying it was not laid back or lazy, but just measured. Whatever it did lack intent, and the results showed it. Three, pointing fingers at a biased Champions Trophy scheduling that favoured India, where India were playing all their matches in one venue. So did England, barring the last inconsequential game. England played most of their games in Lahore and still managed to win none. Former cricketers did not hold back when it came to reflecting on England and their agenda of baseball failing.
I completely and utterly understand why everybody loves seeing England lose. The arrogance of English cricket to decide that after striving for all that time to win a 50-over World Cup, you then decide that it's not important enough for your players to play?
Even Alex Hartley, former England cricketer and broadcaster now, did not mince her words, speaking about English cricket.
The arrogance of the England teams irritates me. They say we don't care about the result and we want to entertain. But people don't want to come and watch you if you lose all the time.
Head coach Brendan McCullum is surely under the pump. One thought is always to go ahead with what you feel will work and continue to work. The conviction, as they say, to back baseball, because it delivered in the past. The other is to realize quickly that things are not quite working out the way you want it to, and facts point to that. It is a different set of personnel currently, and not the Eoin Morgan-led side that was able to bring Baz's vision that was on paper to the field. There are murmurs of split captaincy, something McCullum was never keen on, but is there any other choice? Will England take a step back to make an objective call this time on the way forward, or will the bravado, arrogant heart rule their actions again? Pakistan cricket team's Champions Trophy campaign ended without winning a single game, but the country's journey in the tournament continues as hosts. Much like their cricket team's fortunes, the nation is facing the heat for a poor show in organising the ICC tournament too. Pakistan Cricket Board, or the PCB, is once again getting flack for their management skills or the lack of it. They were trolled after another match was called off due to rain. The all-important Afghanistan versus Australia encounter, which was washed out after rain interrupted play during the second innings. Just 30 minutes of rain during Australia's run chase proved to be too much for the Gaddafi Stadium to handle. A poor drainage system led to the match getting called off. The ground staff was trying to remove the wet patches by sponges and wipers. And it isn't just the facilities on the ground. In a video that is going viral, fans can even be seen complaining about the leaking roof inside the stadium. A country that invested millions on their renovation only to have been caught out during a small downpour. The internet didn't let Pakistan off too easily. Not the first time Pakistan's infrastructure has affected a tournament. Out of the 9 matches that Pakistan have hosted so far, 3 games have been a washout. South Africa versus Australia and the Pakistan-Bangladesh game, both in Rawalpindi, and the Afghanistan versus Australia match that was supposed to take place in Lahore. Now, while the other 2 still had persistent rain through the course, so it was still understandable, Pakistan could not really defend the washout in Lahore because it was just 30 minutes of rain that led to the entire match being called off. The reason why there is so much anger is because the game was a virtual knockout. Afghanistan put 273 on board in their innings. Australia were at 109 for the loss of 1 wicket in the 12th over by the time it started raining. Sure, Australia were in a commanding position when it began to drizzle, but in cricket, it isn't over until the very last ball, and Afghanistan had come into this match on a hot win over England. Now, by the time the rain, of course, settled and stopped, the ground had got so wet that umpires weren't hopeful that they could have carried on with the game, especially after looking at those wet patches. Australia and Afghanistan shared points, pushing Australia to 4, giving them a point advantage over Afghanistan, which is enough really for them to qualify for the semi-final and end Afghanistan's dream run in this tournament. The only concern is that the same Gaddafi Stadium that is set to, of course, host one of the semi-final encounters in less than 2 days, the second semi-final clash between South Africa and New Zealand. Over the next 3 days, this is how the weather really looks like when you look at what to expect in Lahore. Today, the chances of rain, of course, is around 24%. Tomorrow, it reduces to 8% and on the 5th, the match day, it is just 2%. Of course, while the numbers may not be high or too worrisome at this point, given how the Afghanistan versus Australia game panned out, all it takes is a little shower to put the semi-final in jeopardy. So what happens then if there is no game due to adverse conditions, the weather, if the match is washed out on or is halted on the 5th, there is a reserve day on the 6th. The 2 sides will once again compete on the extra day. And even then, if there is no result, the team that topped the group, in this case South Africa, will qualify for the final. But of course, everyone will hope it doesn't come down to that. But is it all really that simple? What an extra day of cricket really means is that much less time before the final for whichever team qualifies among these 2. A fixture that will take place in Pakistan if Australia win the first semi-final against India, which is in Dubai. Otherwise, the final is in Dubai if India get the better of Australia. Uncertainty in there too. So clearly another day would add more toll on the players and give them much lesser time to be ready for that final. More of travel than training for an ICC final, something most of the participating teams are already struggling to deal with. Given India is playing all of their matches in Dubai, the to and fro between UAE and Pakistan has been quite extensive for a few of the teams. The semi-final fixtures too were only confirmed last night when India managed to beat New Zealand. Because of this, both the teams in the other group, South Africa and Australia, actually flew over to train at the ICC Academy in Dubai while they awaited to know which of these 2 teams would have to in fact stay back. While the teams are experiencing all this chaos, fans are of course seeing the funny side of it. Sure, the internet laughed off the whole matter, but what these issues really highlight is the chaotic organization of the Champions Trophy, an event which was supposed to show Pakistan's hospitality as a host, with an ICC tournament returning to their country after nearly 3 decades. Well, their hospitality was there. It has unfortunately been their own team getting knocked out without winning a single game. Life has indeed come a full circle for Uzbek Grandmaster Nordibek Yakuboev. A little over a month ago, the chess player courted controversy after he refused to shake hands with Indian Grandmaster Vaishali Ramesh Babu during a tournament in Netherlands. And although he cited religious beliefs as the reason behind this refusal, the backlash was severe. At the Prague Chess Festival, the Uzbek was once again put in a similar situation. He was pitted against India's Divya Deshmukh in the 3rd round of the tournament. The world number 71 opted for a more traditional greeting. Our next report tells you more.
Once bitten, twice shy. A statement apt for Uzbek Grandmaster Nodirbek Yakuboev. He sparked a huge uproar over his refusal to shake hands with Indian Grandmaster Vaishali Ramesh Babu. An act that got him heavy criticism for days. So much so that the Uzbek had to release statements clarifying himself and also decided to apologize to Vaishali to de-escalate the matter and diffuse the tension.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What happened?
And after a very eventful episode, Nodirbek seems to have learnt his lesson. The Grandmaster was once again in an uncomfortable position when he was pitted against India's Divya Deshmukh in a round 3 game at the Prague Chess Festival. A game Nodirbek eventually went on to win. The tension was once again around whether to shake hands or not. The reason Nodirbek had given for the earlier faux pas was that religion forbade him from touching women who were not related to him. But this time the Grandmaster was cautious. Instead of shaking hands, or worse, refusing to do anything, Nodirbek greeted his opponent with a traditional gesture.
You can start the clocks. Good luck to your games.
A simple namaste, but it made a massive impact. Because the last time when he refused to shake hands with Vaishali Ramesh Babu, he was accused of racism and sexism. Because he had in fact shaken hands with this very opponent back in 2023. So the Uzbek, with this gesture, not only managed to provide some damage control, but also corrected a wrong footing. Nodirbek knew he needed something grand to remove the scrutiny surrounding him. The irony, though, the grandest gesture wasn't a massive statement or clarification, but an act as simple as namaste. Even Divya Deshmukh saw the lighter side of it. What this little gesture has done is set a precedent for the future. Nodirbek has not only evaded another controversy, but has also managed to set an example for other players, many possibly his compatriots across various sporting disciplines, that religious beliefs and sports can coexist. It's not about one belief overpowering the other, but about finding the middle ground. A space that is respectful for both sentiments.
You can start the clocks. Good luck to your guests.
Time for last serve. The tradition to boo the US national anthem in Canada's sporting events continues after NHL, NBA, football fans have now joined in. Before the Los Angeles Galaxy and the Vancouver Whitecaps game in MLS, the US anthem was booed. Vancouver eventually won the home fixture 2-1. Take a look. That wraps it up here on First Sports. I'll of course see you again tomorrow. Till then, do take care. Bye-bye.
Merci beaucoup. Hi, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Namaste, Mr. President.
Bharat Kelogan, Komeri Namaste.
How many people generally follow you in interviews?
Typically in a month we have viewers up to 150 million, that's more than twice the population of France. And in the last 2 years we had 3 billion viewers. So I say, Lahore, this is your chance to be famous. You're on Firstpost. One word to describe your equation with Prime Minister Modi.
Amitié.
As India and France work together, are you creating a new era of non-alignment in the technology space?
India is a training superpower. 1 million engineers a year, more than all of Europe and the US combined. So we have that partnership. We have a partnership on the environment and the economy. We also have civilian nuclear programs, and that is something we've developed far beyond the France-India relationship. So we want to work together on AI.
And then comes China with its DeepSeek, creating models at a fraction of the cost. Did that innovation take you by surprise? Did that breakthrough make you sit up and think, what did the Chinese do and how?
But what did DeepSeek do? They took everything that was already available from the last AI model, and then they recalibrated it.
So are you going to ban Chinese AI in France?
So we don't have this American approach of banning tech because of where it comes from.